Imagine that you got a mosquito bite, went to bed, and woke up with a fatal disease. This was the case for 3-year-old Raul Charuto, whose family found her unconscious, and her skin was hot to the touch. After waking up 2 weeks later in the hospital, she could no longer walk, feed herself, or communicate. The Against Malaria Foundation works to prevent the spread of malaria by distributing long-lasting insecticide-treated mosquito nets to susceptible populations in developing countries.
The foundation funds bed nets, which are nets that protect people from mosquitoes. Each net costs $2.50, which will, on average, protect 2 people for up to 4 years. 100% of donations goes towards purchasing nets.
The foundation ensures the nets are used properly, including being placed where they need to be, over heads and over beds.
The foundation gathers 12 months of survey data to establish the need for nets prior to distribution, and continues to track infection rates for 3 to 4 years following distribution. It also monitors net use and condition, visiting around 5% of recipient households for randomized follow-up reporting.
The Against Malaria Foundation has been named a top charity by the Life You Can Save, Give Well, Giving What We Can, and Focusing Philanthropy.
Do you remember the 3-year-old little girl Raul shared you from the beginning of the video? Well, if she would have gotten a net to put over her bed, then she would have gotten malaria and she would have still been able to walk and communicate.
And by donating against Malaria Foundation, you are directly impacting women and children who are affected by malaria.
Malaria is a disease that affects 3.2 billion people and counting.
This disease affects mass amounts of women and children.
About 90% of global deaths from malaria in 2013 occurred in Africa. A study of 1,158 adults in Kenya shows more women than men suffer from malaria. An expert says it could be due to pregnancy and increased HIV in women than men. Against Malaria Foundation has been active in 36 countries in Africa, Asia, South America, with a particular focus on sub-Saharan Africa.
3.2 billion people, almost half the world's population, are at risk of malaria. There were 214 million cases reported in 2015, and 88% of those cases were found in sub-Saharan Africa. In 2015, there were 438,000 deaths, and 90% of those deaths were found in sub-Saharan Africa. 70% of those deaths were of children under 5 years old.
Living in America, we are ignorant to life-threatening diseases that impact women and children's lifestyles every single day. We don't realize how privileged we actually are until we are educated about these issues. We are called to show empathy for others who are not as fortunate as we are. A small, simple donation can impact so many lives.
As college students who are not financially well off, this charity is the best way to make a small amount of money count and make a difference. For just $2.50, you are protecting 2 people for up to 4 years. As Gonzaga students, skip your morning coffee and donate to Against Malaria Foundation to help the lives of 2 people.